pay attention. Right now, you're walking into rooms and disappearing. Your presence doesn't register. Your energy doesn't command attention. Your body language screams submission before you even speak. And people treat you accordingly. They talk over you. They ignore you. They dismiss you without conscious thought. Not because you lack value, because your physical presence signals zero dominance. Here's what nobody tells you. Dominance hierarchies are established in the first 3 seconds of physical presence. Before you speak, before you prove your worth, before anyone knows anything about you. Your body language, your energy, your space occupation. These physical elements communicate dominance or submission instantly. And once that hierarchy is established, everything that follows reinforces it. Right now, you're probably making yourself physically smaller. Hunching slightly, avoiding eye contact, moving tentatively, taking up minimal space, speaking quietly. These subtle physical behaviors are destroying your status in every environment you enter. You think being physically unobtrusive is polite. It's not polite, it's submission. And submission gets exploited. The brutal reality: humans are animals. We respond to physical presence signals before conscious thought engages. A person who enters with dominant physical presence triggers automatic deference responses in others. A person who enters with submissive physical presence triggers automatic dominance responses in others. Same person, different physical presence. Opposite social treatment. But here's the power move they don't teach. Physical dominance can be learned and deployed strategically. You don't need to be tall, muscular, or naturally imposing. You need specific elements of presence, energy, and space occupation that trigger automatic dominance recognition in every human brain you encounter. This isn't about intimidation. This is about commanding the respect your actual value deserves through strategic physical presence. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago watching Renaissance courts. The princes who commanded physical presence, who occupied space confidently, who moved with deliberate energy, who maintained dominant body language, received automatic deference regardless of actual power. The princes who exhibited submissive physical presence were dismissed regardless of legitimate authority. Physical presence determined treatment more than actual status. This video will teach you 6 ruthless elements of physical presence, personal energy, and space occupation that establish automatic dominance in any environment. You will learn to command rooms through body language alone, to trigger deference responses through strategic presence, to occupy space in ways that force others to accommodate you rather than you accommodating them. Now, drop this affirmation in the comments. I am untouchable in thought. Machiavelli's law of physical dominance. Machiavelli observed that the same prince received radically different treatment based purely on physical presence changes. When the prince entered rooms with confident, expansive body language, people deferred automatically. When the same prince entered with tentative, contracted body language, people challenged constantly. The prince's actual authority hadn't changed. The physical presence signals changed everything. Humans respond to physical dominance cues before processing conscious information about actual status. 1. The deliberate slowness that signals complete control. Here's your first weapon. Move slower than everyone else. Rushed movement signals anxiety and low status. Deliberate slowness signals control and dominance. When you move slowly and deliberately, you communicate that you're not reactive to the environment. The environment reacts to you. Speed of movement determines perceived power. When you move quickly, you signal submission to environmental pressure. Fast walking says you're rushing to meet someone else's timeline. Quick gestures say you're anxious and reactive. Hurried movements communicate that external forces control your actions. Everyone watching unconsciously categorizes you as submissive, because your physical speed signals you're being controlled by circumstances. Now implement deliberate slowness. Walk 20% slower than feels natural. Make gestures 30% slower than your instinct. Take your time sitting down. Pause before responding. Move through space like you own it and have infinite time to traverse it. This physical slowness communicates that you're not controlled by urgency. You control the pace. Think about powerful people you've observed. They don't rush. They move deliberately. They take their time. That slowness isn't laziness. It's a dominance signal. It says, I'm not reactive to pressure because I'm the source of pressure. Your deliberate slowness forces others to wait for you, which establishes dominance hierarchy through pure physical presence. The ruthless practice: cut your movement speed by 25% in all situations. Walk slower, gesture slower. Sit and stand with deliberate, unhurried movement. When someone's waiting for you, don't rush. Maintain your deliberate pace. Let them adapt to your timeline rather than you adapting to theirs. Your physical slowness becomes dominance communication that operates continuously. Most people fear slowness will make them seem lazy or incompetent. It won't. It will make you seem powerful and controlled. Anxiety moves fast. Power moves deliberately. Your slow movement is a constant broadcast of, I control my actions and environment, that everyone unconsciously receives and responds to with automatic deference. Drop this affirmation. I refuse to be psychologically dominated by others. 2. The expansive space occupation. That forces accommodation pay attention to this dominance element. Take up maximum physical space. Submissive people contract themselves to avoid imposing. Dominant people expand to claim territory. When you physically occupy space expansively, others must accommodate you. That forced accommodation establishes dominance hierarchy through pure spatial dynamics. When you make yourself small, arms close to body, legs together, contracted posture, you signal submission. You're communicating, I'm trying not to impose on anyone's space. This physical contraction tells everyone you're low status and can be pushed around. They don't think this consciously. They sense it physically and treat you as someone who occupies space by permission rather than right. Now practice expansive occupation. Sit with legs apart. Stand with wide stance. Use broad gestures that claim airspace. Put your belongings on extra chair. Lean back instead of forward. Physically expand your body to occupy maximum space without being absurdly theatrical. Every inch of space you claim is a dominance communication. Think about how you feel around people who take up lots of space versus people who contract themselves. The space takers feel more important. The contractors feel dismissible. That's pure physical dominance hierarchy. Space occupation determines perceived status. More space claimed equals higher status assigned. The brutal practice: in every environment, physically expand. Sit with wide leg stance. Stand with feet shoulder width apart or wider. Use gestures that extend far from your body. Put items on table to claim more surface area. Lean back in chairs with arms spread. Your expansive physical presence forces others to work around you. which establishes you as the center that others accommodate rather than someone who accommodates others. Some will find this aggressive or rude. Perfect. That discomfort is their unconscious recognition that you're claiming dominance through space occupation. The people worth interacting with will unconsciously respect your space claim and treat you with more deference. Your expansive presence sorts submissive accommodators from equals who respect boundaries. Drop this affirmation. I control my focus. 3. The sustained eye contact that establishes dominance. Here's a dominance weapon most people fear to use. Maintain eye contact longer than comfortable. Breaking eye contact first signals submission. Maintaining eye contact until the other person breaks signals dominance. Eye contact duration is a direct physical contest for status hierarchy, and most people lose automatically by looking away first. When you break eye contact quickly, you signal submission. Looking away first says, "You're higher status than me, and I defer to you." Most people break eye contact within 2 to 3 seconds because holding longer feels uncomfortable. That discomfort is exactly the dominance test, and by avoiding discomfort, they're failing the test and accepting submissive status. Now master sustained eye contact. When talking or listening, maintain direct eye contact until the other person looks away. Hold through the discomfort. Don't stare aggressively. Maintain calm, confident eye contact that communicates, "I'm not breaking first." Let them experience the discomfort of the dominance contest and choose to submit by looking away. Think about interactions where someone held eye contact longer than you. You felt pressure. You looked away. And unconsciously, you assigned them higher status. That's the power of sustained eye contact. It's a physical dominance contest where the person who maintains contact longer wins status positioning for the entire interaction. The ruthless practice. In every conversation, commit to not breaking eye contact first. Maintain calm, direct eye contact through the discomfort period. Let the other person be the one who looks away. This establishes dominance hierarchy through pure eye contact without words. You've won the physical status contest before conversation even begins. People will find intense eye contact uncomfortable or intimate. Good. That discomfort is the dominance contest playing out. Some will look away immediately, submitting. Some will hold contact back, signaling equal status. Your sustained eye contact forces this hierarchy establishment and positions you as dominant by default when others look away first. Drop this affirmation. I choose awareness over virtue. 4. The lower voice tone that commands automatic respect. Listen carefully. Speak from your chest, not your throat. High-pitched voices signal anxiety and low status. Deep low voices signal confidence and dominance. Voice pitch is a physical dominance cue that triggers automatic status responses. Lower your voice and people automatically assign you higher status without knowing why. When you speak in high or mid-range pitch, you signal stress. High voices communicate anxiety, uncertainty, submission. Everyone listening unconsciously perceives your voice pitch as a status indicator. Higher pitch equals lower status. They don't decide this consciously. Their animal brain assigns status based on vocal pitch before conscious thought engages. Now, deliberately lower your voice. Speak from your chest and diaphragm rather than throat. Drop your pitch intentionally. Slow your speech and allow your voice to resonate lower. Practice speaking in the lowest comfortable pitch you can sustain. This lower voice triggers automatic respect responses in listeners because deep voices signal dominance across all human cultures. Think about voices you automatically respect versus voices you dismiss. Deep, authoritative voices command attention. High, anxious voices get ignored. That's not conscious discrimination. It's hardwired status assignment based on vocal pitch. Your voice pitch determines how your words are received regardless of content quality. The brutal practice: consciously lower your voice pitch in all speaking. Before speaking, take a breath into your diaphragm and speak from your chest. Aim for the lowest comfortable pitch you can sustain without strain. Record yourself and listen. Is your pitch lower than your natural speaking voice? If not, go lower. Your deep voice is continuous dominance communication that operates in every verbal interaction. Some people can't physically achieve very deep voices. Doesn't matter. Speak at your lowest comfortable pitch. Even a moderate lowering of pitch triggers better status response than your natural higher pitch. The relative lowering communicates more control and confidence, which translates to perceived dominance. Drop this affirmation: I am untouchable in thought. 5. The centered stillness that radiates controlled power. Pay attention to this presence element. Eliminate unnecessary movement. Fidgeting, adjusting, small movements, these signal anxiety and low status. Perfect stillness signals complete self-control and dominance. When you're physically still and centered, you communicate that you're entirely comfortable and in control. Stillness is power. When you fidget, adjust your clothes, shift weight constantly, play with objects, you're broadcasting anxiety. Every unnecessary movement tells observers you're uncomfortable and self-conscious. These micro-movements signal submission because they communicate you're not in control of your own body. Everyone watching unconsciously categorizes you as anxious and low status. Now practice centered stillness. When standing, plant feet and don't shift weight. When sitting, settle into position and stay there. Eliminate hand fidgeting, face touching, posture adjusting. Make only necessary deliberate movements. Your physical stillness communicates complete comfort and self-possession that others unconsciously read as dominance. Think about powerful people in your experience. They're remarkably still. They settle into positions and maintain them. They make few unnecessary movements. That stillness isn't boredom. It's centered power. It says, I'm completely comfortable in my body and this environment. Your stillness forces others to come to you rather than you adjusting to them. The ruthless practice: eliminate all unconscious movement. Stand or sit and commit to that position. Notice urges to shift, adjust, fidget, and resist them. Maintain your position with centered stillness. When you must move, move deliberately and then return to stillness. Your physical stillness becomes a dominance broadcast that operates continuously without words. Most people will find perfect stillness difficult initially. That difficulty reveals how much unconscious anxiety movement you're constantly broadcasting. The discomfort of staying still is your body's addiction to anxiety relief through movement. Push through it. The stillness you achieve becomes powerful presence that establishes automatic dominance. Drop this affirmation: I refuse to be psychologically dominated. 6. The strategic touch that establishes physical dominance. Here's the final dominance element. Initiate appropriate touch before others do. The person who touches first establishes physical dominance. The person who receives touch accept subordinate status. Strategic touch, handshakes, shoulder touches, appropriate contact is a physical dominance establishment that operates beneath conscious awareness. When you wait for others to initiate touch, you accept submissive status. The person who extends their hand first for a handshake claims dominance. The person who touches someone's arm or shoulder during conversation establishes higher status. These aren't thoughts. They're physical status communications that both parties unconsciously register and accept. Now master strategic touch initiation. Be first to extend your hand in greetings. During appropriate moments in conversation, use brief shoulder or arm touches to emphasize points. When guiding someone, place hand on their back. Initiate all appropriate physical contact before others do. Every touch you initiate is a dominance claim they unconsciously accept. Think about interactions where someone touched your shoulder or arm while talking. You unconsciously accepted their higher status in that moment. Now think about when you've initiated touch. You felt more powerful. That's physical dominance hierarchy being established through strategic touch. The toucher dominates. The touched submits. The brutal practice, in all appropriate contexts, initiate touch first. Be first to offer handshakes. Use brief appropriate touches during conversation. Shoulder tap, arm touch to emphasize point. These touches must be appropriate and brief. This isn't about violating boundaries. It's about claiming physical dominance within appropriate social contact. Your touch initiation establishes status hierarchy physically. Some will be uncomfortable with strategic touch. That discomfort is their recognition of the dominance claim. Respect boundaries, but within appropriate social touch contexts, always initiate first. Your consistent touch initiation trains everyone you interact with that you occupy dominant status in physical hierarchy. Drop this affirmation. I control my focus. Dominate through physical presence. So here's what these 6 ruthless elements reveal. Dominance is established through physical presence before words matter. Move with deliberate slowness that signals control. Occupy space expansively to force accommodation. Maintain eye contact until others break. Speak in low pitch that commands respect. Maintain centered stillness that radiates power. Initiate strategic touch to establish physical dominance. This isn't about being physically intimidating. It's about understanding that humans assign status based on physical presence cues before conscious evaluation begins. Your slow, deliberate movement, expansive space occupation, sustained eye contact, low voice, perfect stillness, and touch initiation are continuous dominance broadcasts that operate in every physical interaction. Stop making yourself small. Stop moving anxiously. Stop breaking eye contact first. Stop speaking in high anxious pitch. Stop fidgeting nervously. Stop waiting for others to initiate touch. Every one of these submissive physical behaviors is teaching everyone you encounter to treat you as low status. And they comply automatically without thinking about it. Machiavelli would remind you that princes who commanded physical presence received deference regardless of actual power. That physical slowness, space occupation, eye contact dominance, voice authority, centered stillness, and touch initiation determine treatment more than legitimate status. Your physical presence establishes your status before your words begin. If this video taught you how to dominate through physical presence, hit that like button. Share it with someone who disappears in rooms. Subscribe because we're going to keep teaching you physical dominance that operates automatically. Now drop this final affirmation. I am powerful and kind. Master your physical presence. Occupy space dominantly. Command respect automatically. Now go establish dominance in every environment through strategic physical presence alone.